Okay, let's go ahead and look at the stock market charts. We're going to get into the technical analysis, looking at various trade ideas. Let's just jump right into it. Drop me a thumbs up if you're finding value in the content. Feel free to join up on the private member group if you want additional trade ideas and market insights. Link in the description below on that one. Okay, so I'm going to start off with triple Qs. This is kind of key right now, so I definitely think this is important to keep an eye on today, and really today is going to be important. On the biggest, on the daily chart, we've got the key things that I'm really watching, okay? We do have negative divergence, all right? That remains, all right? That's still been extended, so that there's no change there on the divergence. Now, negative divergence just tells us that we have the conditions for a trend reversal, okay? So then we want to be on the lookout for that trend reversal. You can see here, even on the PPO, did turn down. So negative divergence on both momentum indicators on the daily chart give us the conditions for a trend reversal. Okay, we have up here in the charts, we have a bearish engulfing outside day right there on triple Qs. Those come, typically, you look for those at the end of extended uptrends to signal the top of a trend. So that's what we have. That's signaling the top of a trend. Today, and you can see, this makes a lot of sense to me. They're rallying it up into the top of that trend, trying to basically break that top. Now, what I would expect, when you get up here, you're oftentimes going to see intraday moves above that level. The level right now, it's about 460.57 or 460.50, right in there. Oftentimes you're going to see intraday pops above that level. That's stop rating action. Okay, people see this as a top in the market, all right? Or if you are that bearish engulfing, if you're treating it as a top, you'd set your stop above there. Okay, and so oftentimes what they'll do is that when they get close, they'll run it up in there intraday, clear out all those stops, only to see the chart either reverse right here or to see it basically close the day still at that top. All right, so that's what we're looking for. Now, if I go down to the hourly chart, this is what you can see. Basically, they have been popping it above here, so that's what this price action right there is. So we'll see how the day closes. If we close basically on or very near that key level, then the top we're still treating that bearish engulfing as a top. If the daily close is clearly going to close above that level, and you're going to get a very obvious close above that former bearish engulfing candle, then we can't say that the top of triple Qs is in, and very likely you'd want to stop out if you're if you're short trading. Maybe give it a day, but in general you'd be looking to stop out, because going back to the daily chart, that bearish engulfing would have been taken out. It's no longer a valid technical top. So that's where we're at. Objective, from a risk reward standpoint, if you think this is the top, then basically this is just a back test of that resistance. It's a very objective area to potentially add to a short or initiate a new short, because again, if we clear through there and continue to rally, you're wrong pretty small. All right, you're going to rally up, get a daily close above there. You're wrong. You stop out, take the small loss, and look for the next trade. But if you're right, then you're basically entering, basically at the top. So very objective, good risk reward for a short trade right here. No guarantees it's going to work out, of course. And again, if we get that daily close above there, then it doesn't really make sense to be short. So that's it on the triple Qs. I don't think there's really much else to cover. This one is interesting. Meta. Again, this one still has this island cluster top. They've rallied it up into, basically getting close to, it's really basically a gap fill today. And so again, you wouldn't want to see this going much higher. It can go a little higher. I mean, you can get up into this range and maybe pop up into here, but really anything above about 500, you start getting daily closes above 500 or so. You don't really want to see that. So again, pretty objective as a short trade right here as well. Again, can continue to go against you a little bit. So again, whenever something's objective, doesn't mean it's going to just turn around the moment that you enter the trade. you have to give it a little room, but it's near the kind of key resistance that, risk reward's pretty good. Because again, if it starts getting daily closes above the 500 level, you start popping up to around 502 and stuff. It just doesn't make sense to remain short. So you just stop out. NVIDIA, I don't see any signs here of a top. There's just no indication that we have a top in this stock here. We do have, this is a divergent high, this price action here. You can see on the RSI, we are, have made a lower high, and clearly on the PPO, but it's still pointed up. So if we continue higher, we can obviously burn through this divergence. This divergence doesn't give us a sign of a top. It just tells us the conditions are there for a trend reversal. I see nothing in the candlesticks, though, that tell me we have a top. So this one, just, until this one turns, the market's not going to turn. So you definitely have to keep an eye out here. Okay, let's look at some trade ideas. We've got wheat falling to support today. This is the wheat ETN. You can see right here, it's about $6 as support. If I roll out on the daily, you can see we've had lots of reactions. Here's some more from back here. Lots of reactions on that $6 level to validate that as support. There's another reaction, and we're back down there now. So it was resistance in the past. It should be support now. So this is an objective area to buy. Wheat now, yeah, they could dip it below just slightly, run some stops, but in general, this is support. So looks like a good area to go long on wheat for the next push higher. So, and again, if you go back and look, we did have this big bullish falling wedge pattern here. We had bullish divergence. We had a breakout, pretty strong move up. I mean, that first leg up was, pretty strong. The measured target for the wedge, you take the widest part of the wedge, it's about right here, and then you take it at the point of the breakout. So the measured target is about, it's right up here at about 668. We didn't get there yet. We got pretty close, but didn't quite get there, seeing this pullback. So I think they can hold this support and then push it up to that measured target. So that would be the trade idea, I believe, for right now, is a push up to that measured target. It's about a 10.5% move. So that's what I'd be looking for on that one. It's, again, I like it. It's objective to go long right here. Looking at the semiconductors, obviously NVIDIA, I talked about not having any sell signal. Here's the semiconductor index, SOXX. And you can see basically we've got some support on this trend line, and that support remains intact. There's no break of support. So we do have negative divergence. So we do have the conditions for a break of trend, but we don't have that break of trend yet. So we need to see this trend line go before there's any kind of a sell signal. So in general, that's really what I'd be looking for. If you're looking to, if you're long, that could be an opportunity to get out of your longs. And if you're looking to short, that could be your sell signal. Gold, okay, gold and gold miners in general. This is the GDX, the gold mining ETF. You can see here that this one, you had an uptrend line, and I've got it kind of marked out here, and we broke trend, and so it's kind of sell the rip at this point. We're we're moving lower, rallying into resistance, and then we should continue to move lower. So looking for some more downside here on gold. Support, I've got some support. These reaction lows, this one right here, it's about 32.30, 32.37 is what it says. That looks like some support. Obviously, you have the 200-day and a more larger uptrend line. If I roll out, if you really want to look at the larger trend, it's kind of marked right here, resistance, 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 and, way down there. I don't know if we'll get all the way down there. That's a pretty good size move, but that 32, 37 area looks like a good target for the next push lower. Let's take a look at the bonds, TLT. This is broken trend. So obviously you have a downtrend line in TLT, all right? And we've clearly broken that trend. So interest rates are falling. That's essentially what this means, at least on the long end of the curve. The interest rates are falling. You do have the Fed fund futures, I believe, has been pricing in an interest rate cut, the first one, I believe, in September. So maybe these long bonds are starting to, people are buying the long bond, trying to lock in that interest rate because they know the short end of the curve is very likely going to be cut. So they're, bonds are falling, or bonds are going up, which means the interest rates are falling. So that should provide a tailwind to the markets. Typically when you see interest rates falling, that's helpful for stock markets. So keep an eye on that. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but that should be. But the interesting thing is, just as we've seen the bonds, rallying and interest rates falling, we've also seen gold falling as well. So kind of mixed signals on that one. And we'll wrap up with NTR. So this is, an agricultural kind of play. NTR, just as wheat's pulled back to some decent support, NTR is now pulling back to the 200-day moving average right here. So I think it's objective to go long right here at the 200. Buyers should be stepping in. One thing is the major target for this one. You have this bullish falling wedge here. Widest part of the wedge sets this up for a push anywhere. I mean, the initial breakout is right here, so it's kind of setting us up for anywhere up to about 69.30 up to about 74.50 to hit that measured target. So that means from where we're at now, if the buyers step in right now and we just hit that first target, that's a move up of about 24% on that move. So looks objective as a long right in here to buy it at support for that next move higher. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Drop me a thumbs up on your way at it. I appreciate it. Catch you guys on the next one.